Hello everyone, this is Hellession. Welcome to the core version 2.2, a brand new major update that adds image support, new moderation features, and completely overhauls the Bane of Adolebia. Here's everything that changed in this version. We'll start off with advanced leveling and leaderboards, where the biggest change was to the leaderboards command. The core got its first image support, and the first command to support images is the slash version of the leaderboards command. On top of that, the text version of the slash leaderboards command has been completely rewritten, and there is also a new argument if for whatever reason you don't like the image leaderboards, because the command will default to images now, unless my new website is down. The image leaderboards are better formatted than text, and feature a random background upon each use. On the top of each leaderboard image, you can see icons representing every single modification of a leaderboard, be it monthly, weekly, the specific type, such as text or voice, or any of the premium modifiers of your choice. The argument args will still output a list of possible arguments that you can combine together for reference. The staff of servers owning the core have a new ability to set up level notification redirects, which basically redirects all text level up notifications into a single channel. You can set up a level up notification redirect with %shards_modify set redirect. Another new feature allows you to clean up your level reward roles. Previously, the core simply added every accomplished level reward role to the user, which could end up making their bio look really messy with many different reward roles. You can now change this behavior to something else with the command %server_set_leaderboard reward mode. The possible level reward modes are to keep all rewards, which is the default behavior, to keep only the absolute highest, or to keep the highest for each type, which keeps one highest reward for each level type. Next up, the core's moderation got a major step up. A large number of moderation commands have been modernized and created as slash commands. The slash moderation commands now allow you to issue punishments for a limited amount of time. This works for every new slash command that represents a punishment that could last some time, with notable exceptions being /mod_warn and /mod_kick. The duration set for a punishment can be any range of time starting from 20 seconds up until 30 years. Warnings on the core got a fairly large overhaul as well. There is a new command /mod_manage, which allows you to manage how the core handles warnings for users. Previously, the core defaulted to 3 warnings giving an automatic kick, and 6 warnings giving an automatic ban. This has been changed. The default automatic punishments for warnings are now empty, but you can create up to 20 automatic punishments that are issued by the core when users get warned. The command /mod_manage opens a menu that allows you to set up these automatic punishments. There's also a new timeout command, so far only available for slash, which allows you to use the Discord's timeout feature that was added after the older mod commands were made. Together, timeout and mutes can now contribute towards a warning. You can specify how many timeouts or mutes it takes to get a warning using /mod_manage, but you can also change whether timeouts or mutes count towards this at all. On top of that, the core also allows you to set up an automatic prune duration for bans, which is that feature that removes a certain amount of most recent messages from a banned user. So you can change the amount of days worth of messages to delete from a user that got banned to be applied automatically. Automatic punishments also support time-limited punishments, such as, for example, a 3-day ban. The core will ask you if you want your automatic punishment to be permanent or temporary every time you add a punishment that could be temporary. You might be thinking to yourself, what is the point of a mute if timeouts exist? That is a good question. I can't really answer this question myself, but I can show you the fact that the mutes have been enhanced. Instead of applying one role and removing another, you may now manage what roles are added and removed upon a mute with the new command /server_manage_mute. There are 3 categories of roles that this command stores: member roles, muted roles, and optional member roles. When you mute a user, every role that is in the muted roles list gets applied to them. Every member role gets removed, and every optional member role also gets removed. When that user gets unmuted, this happens in reverse. Almost. The optional member roles are only returned to the user if they had them in the first place before being muted, while non-optional member roles are returned all the time. This might still not make it more useful than a timeout, but hell, maybe you could find a use out of that. Anyway, with the undercards out of the way, it's time for the main stage. The Bane of Adolebia. The Bane of Adolebia previously used to be a worse version of Town of Salem 1 on Discord. However, with this update, I finally added my own custom content. The core version 2.2 brings 5 brand new original roles to the Bane of Adolebia. None of these roles have custom artwork, because I suck at art. The first one is Berserker. No, it's not Neutral Apocalypse. In fact, it has nothing to do with Town of Salem 2. The Berserker is a glass cannon role of a town. They are a town killing. The Berserker gains a rage point every time they witness a town member die. When they think they finally have enough, the Berserker can attack during a night. It costs 1 rage point to create an attack against someone, and then an additional 2 rage points to power up an existing attack once, to make it deal more damage. It also costs another 2 rage points to turn any existing attack into a rampage. The Berserker can only attack this way once. Once the Berserker attacks, if the game doesn't immediately end, they get permanently exposed to the town. They lose the ability to act, they are revealed to everyone, like the governor, and they lose their ability to vote. Permanently. This is why it's important to attack as the Berserker only when you absolutely need to. One other thing is that the Berserker has a temporary scum shield, like the Witch, which protects them against a basic attack once. Next up, we have a town support, the Supplier. The Supplier can provide supplies to another player, which powers up that player's role. A single Supplier can provide supplies only 3 times, but Supplier isn't a unique role, so the true limit is the fact that each role supports 3 unique power levels. Power levels are a new mechanic in the Bane of Adolebia, which dictates how powerful each role is. Every single role in the game has unique mechanics for their power levels, and every single role can be powered up, including the bad guys. So you really have to be careful with whom you power up as the Supplier. You can check the full list of abilities granted by the Supplier by clicking a link in the description. The balancing on this role is not final. As time goes on, and the meta of the game plays out, if it ever will, the power levels may get patched up further and further. The final new town role is a town protective, the Giant. The Giant comes with a brand new mechanic of its own, which is health. Every role other than the Giant starts with 1 health, so when they get attacked, they immediately die if their defense doesn't hold up. However, the Giant starts off with 3 health instead. If an attack attacks someone and doesn't fully deplete their health, the victim learns about being hurt, but won't learn who did it. The attacker, on the other hand, won't get any messages, as if their attack played out like normal. The Giant can use their health to body block for any other player. Keep in mind that this is just a body block. It won't attack the attacker or the target, and the victim will get a message that is the same as the bodyguard. If the Giant's target gets attacked, they will learn the alignment of every visitor of that target, even if they weren't the attacker. The other attribute of the Giant is that if they are voted up and then voted innocent, the trials of the day will immediately end. Yes, this is a subtle insta-confirmation, but it costs the town its trials to get this confirmation, so whether this is bad or not is yet to be decided. The Mafia also got a new role, although this one isn't fully original. The Bartender, who is a Mafia deception. The Bartender can give a drink to another player every night to cause their ability to misfire. This misfire is fixed. It is the closest neighbor up a number on even nights, and down a number on odd nights. And that's about it. The victim will know that they were given a drink, although this notification could be removed with the Supplier being sheeped, but other than that, it's nothing special. The final new role is Yandere, a neutral killing. The Yandere starts off with a love target that is some other player of the game. This target cannot be the clown, but that is really the only limitation. The Yandere has basic defense and destructive attack, which is in between powerful and unstoppable attack in terms of strength. The Yandere can act on 2 targets per night, and will start off only being able to choose their own love target. If the Yandere chooses their love, they will protect them, granting them basic defense, but also role blocking them at the same time. If the Yandere chooses someone else, they will attack them. Initially, the Yandere can't attack anyone. Instead, the Yandere has a passive ability that always informs them about anyone who gets visited by or visits their love, even if the Yandere didn't protect their target that night. Anyone who does that becomes a valid target of the Yandere. This is how the Yandere can kill people. The Yandere can win with their target together, but everyone else has to die. This means that if the target is a town, the rest of the town has to die in order for the target to win with their Yandere. If the Yandere's target gets killed, they will turn into a lonely serial killer. Keyword lonely. That new serial killer will remain in the Yandere faction, which means other serial killers remain enemies of this former Yandere. And that's it for the new roles. A lot of other roles have also been tweaked or changed. The Sleuth has been completely reworked. Back in Town of Salem 1, the analogous role, Investigator, used to be really bad for the meta because it locked evils into claiming specific roles. With that in mind, and knowing how weak the Town of Salem 2 Investigator is, the Sleuth from the Bane of Adolebia is a reversed version of the first game's Investigator. Every night, the Sleuth investigates a player to get a clue about the role or roles that they are not. However, the clues the Sleuth gets follow a strict pattern. There are 23 unique clues that can be found by the Sleuth, and each role of the Bane of Adolebia corresponds to one of these clues. These clues are ranked on a priority system, and for each player, the Sleuth will always find the highest priority clues, and if they keep investigating the same person, they will continue getting new highest priority clues that they didn't have. These clues tend to be ranked in order of how easy they are to confirm. For example, the highest priority clue is Domineering, which corresponds with the Jailer and the Werewolf. The Sleuth also gets a bonus for investigating the same person multiple times. The amount of clues they get increases by 1 up until 3 every time they investigate the same person. Finally, on even nights, the Sleuth gets an additional bonus. Not only do they get 1 additional clue on their target, but they also get a clue on the target's closest neighbors. Remember neighbors from the Bartender? Neighbors are the players whose numbers are next to you. So for example, player 6's neighbors are player 5 and 7. The closest neighbor mechanic accounts for dead players, and also loops. So for example, if the Sleuth targets player 15 on an even night, and player 14 is dead, the neighbors that give a clue are player 13 and player 1. The game distinguishes between neighbors in a subtle way, by attaching a +1 or -1 to each result, which hints at the number of the neighbor. Finally, one other important aspect of the new Sleuth is that the game will not give you clues about roles that are completely absent from the current role list. Yeah, this new role is pretty complicated, but I hope it works well for the meta. In other news, the Escort and Jailer can no longer target the same player twice in a row. The Hypnotist received 6 new Hypnosis messages, which are: you were attacked, you're down to 1 health. You were attacked, but your bulletproof vest saved you. Your target's defense was too strong to deal any damage. Someone threatened to reveal your secrets. You are blackmailed. Someone gave you a drink this night. Your ability has misfired, which is the new message for the Bartender. Power up! This message is unique because it changes based on the role you hypnotize to pretend that they gained an ability power-up from the Supplier. The Hypnotist also received a new ability to wipe the memories of their target. This ability will destroy all other real messages that night for the target. The Retributionist has received a buff. The role is no longer unique. Also, the Retributionist can now use all town roles except for the Jailer. When a Retributionist uses a transporter, they will transport themselves with their second target. A veteran's body will cause the Retributionist to go on alert. a governor's body will secretly increase the Retributionist's vote by 2 only for the next day. A medium's body allows the Retributionist to anonymously speak to the dead next night. Finally, the Retributionist can also use another Retributionist body to recharge a single use of all other non-Retributionist bodies. The medic has been buffed to heal 1 health with their ability. Keep in mind that this can't heal players beyond their normal max health. The Vigilante receives a random joke message for the first night as an excuse on why they can't shoot. When showing the current role list after the game has started, the core now sorts all roles nicely and only shows the part of the role list that is relevant for the current game. When generating games, the Band of Adolebia considers an evil factions as having a majority if they make up over 34% of the lobby instead of 40. Additionally, when generating games, the Band of Adolebia no longer prioritizes jobs by default, which means that players' jobs no longer dictate the current game's role list. The Jailer and Governor have been moved into a new alignment of the town, Town Power. Town Power now replaces the Jailer in all role lists. The Framer's frames now last permanently. The Band of Adolebia has also received Whisper support. You can whisper users by DMing the core with Whisper or W, followed by a number or name of the player and the message. You can also whisper by using a select menu that is posted at the start of each day in the main chat. Just like Town of Salem 1, governors can't whisper or be whispered to after revealing. The Blackmailer has also been changed to account for the whispers being added. It can read all whispers and can now only blackmail 1 player instead of 4. Also, blackmailed players can no longer vote to signal blackmail, and they can't whisper to other players either. The Band of Adolebia has also received a massive message component step-up. Every role now features buttons and select menus that allows you to easily select your target, modify your log, check the current role list, check the graveyard, or your role information. So far, not everything can be done through these message components. Like for example, the Forger still has to use text to select what to forge players as. But remember that all the older methods of picking targets or commands still work, meaning you can still type your targets if that suits you best. The only role that doesn't yet support selecting targets through text is a Berserker, because its actions are fairly complex and fully managed by the component message sent to you, although text support is planned in the future. A final major new feature of note in the Bane of Adolebia is the addition of music and sound. The core will now play audio to help guide players, narrate the game, add some musical ambience, and also remind players of when the time is running out. 1 was a giant. It is too late to continue voting. Knight 2. Great. Players survived last night. Player 5 died last night. They were killed by a member of the Mafia. This is what their log looked like. Player 5 was a Supplier. Day 3. It's time for the town to vote someone on trial. A minimum of 2 votes is required to put someone on trial. You have 3 trials remaining. Player 2 has been put on trial. What do you have to say for yourself? Player 2 has been voted guilty. Do you have any last words? Unfortunately, it's not very in sync. I think it's because of Discord, but it should still enhance the experience. You can change the audio levels of music, sound effects, or my monotone voice through the new Adolebia sound command as the lobby host. Keep in mind that the music may not always be enabled for the game. And that's it when it comes to the new features. Along with this new major version, my website, Hellession.com, has gotten an overhaul and now hosts a plethora of information on my current projects. Feel free to check it out. If you want to invite my Discord bot, which is public, go into the description or my website and find the best invite link for you. Thank you for watching the video, and have a nice day. Bye.